I'm Kumar Rakesh and you're watching Global Governance News TV. Today we're just going to discuss on the Kashmir files outburst, and we have in our GGN talk Professor Gopi Kishen Muju, clinical psychologist, author, senior journalist, socio-political worker from Jammu Kashmir, and also overall he's editor of the Voice of Silence published from Jammu. Just let me just talk about Professor uh, Muzu is a socio-political worker, as I told you, and also just presently working on mission. We want peace. Ultimately, peace is the ultimate for the life, either for Jammu Kashmir or any place. And he has written also the book on militancy in Kashmir. Pakistan proxy war explodes myths about Kashmir and threatens survival of Kashmiri Pandits. And the book was released by former Prime Minister of Bharat, Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Then he was MP in 1992 at Jammu. After that, he left Kashmir on 6th March 1990 due to militancy. Parents stayed back, fearing no harm, but father Pandit Dinanath Muzu, an 80-year century scholar and teacher, was assassinated by some unknown person during the night of 6-7 July 1990. An entire property looted. We can understand who looted the property. So this is not a matter of narrative, but this is a matter of the facts. However, later on it was said Sikh Chowkidar of nearby temple was involved in murder and having some evidence. Reportedly, he was let off reasons best known to the police. Fate of the case not known till date. So we can understand the fate of the Jammu Kashmir and whatever blame game was on is on now at present now. And he fought also election. Professor Muju, JK State Assembly 1996 when militancy was at peak from Hazratul constituency in Srinagar as BJP candidate when its name was Jammu in Kashmir. Then again in 1992. Later on that disassociated the party. Whatever reason, he knows better. We'll talk later. Continued with all social literary activities. He founded Kashmiri Hindu Minority Conference and JK Religious Minorities Rights Forum for the grant of minority status to Hindus and other religious community of the JK state, and also working on. Has been writing in Kashmir and the related issue. Recently, Professor Muju is the president of Women's Welfare Trust in Kashmir, founded in 1925 by some young theosophists of the time, and presently running the oldest girls' high school in Srinagar, Kashmir, facing several militant attacks. I think, Professor Muju, now militant activities is not like that. What you had just written for, and you are editor of the Voice of Silence. So how just you related you're the Voice of Silence and the Kashmir files? I will not say movies. That is a document. This is a documentary. The facts, full of the facts. How just you comparatively you are talking of the Voice of Silence, that is Vivek Agnotri of the Kashmir file is talk of the voice of the those who already killed the genocide, not the exodus.
Thank you, Mr. Rakesh. The question is Voice of Silence was started by me around of 2000 in Jammu. Why I gave that name, Voice of Silence? Because it's a very spiritual and philosophical meaning, Voice of Silence. But at the same time, if you go to the paper, at the title of the paper, there's a line dedicated in memory of those who were killed in silence. It's dedicated to
Right.
the martyrs, the victims of militants in Kashmir, because most of them were killed in silence. We never, those victims in whose memory it is there, they have never retaliated. Beauty, they have never retaliated. They have never taken a stone or a knife or a gun in their hand to fight back. They were killed in cold blood, and therefore they were killed in silence. That's why I have named it, dedicated in the memory of those who were killed in silence. That was the reason. And then the topic itself is there. So far as my personal life is concerned, I have been a socio-political activist in Kashmir. I was doing something there. And in fact, in 1968, I founded a unit of Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad in Kashmir, and I was just vice president, president, and I was the vice president for JNK at that moment, 1968. And that gave me a bit of involvement in this social political type of activities there. Then again, we had a, say, Kashmir police station in 1967 when a girl was kidnapped and all those things were there. So the whole community came out against the conversion, against kidnapping, what's known as Kashmiri Pandit Agitation, Permission Agitation. That gave me a foothold into the Kashmiri Pandit Society and working. Not from any communal angle, not from any so much basically religious type of, but as a social worker, as a human being, I would like to work on anything. So I was involved in social political activities right from my college days, and then continued that even after that. Now coming down to, I mean, say, our voice of silence. I have told you why the name is there and what the basic name is there, and the aim of what was dedicated to whom, and it is presently giving a different type of presentation. It's a spiritual, religious, political. All these features are in the paper, and because my main basic aim is I don't believe in violence. I can't face violence. I can't tolerate violence. Not to speak of physical violence, I can't even tolerate verbal violence. Violence is out of my culture, out of my brain. So anywhere there violence, I run away from that virtually. Not, I mean, say that way. I mean, say I can then face it. That's a different thing. But I don't feel convenient, comfortable. And when this Kashmir file was released, I got a ticket from somebody, from my daughter. Please go and see that. So I told, because this is my story. This is my life. I have faced it. I have seen it. No, I don't want to see my mother, my daughter, my sister, my friend, young one to be being raped there and seen on the screen. What a horrible scene it can be. I don't want to see my father, my brother, my friend, my young neighbor being killed in a drum and soaked blood. I don't want to see it. I just can't see it because it is a fact. It has happened, and so violence is against me, and that's why I'm working on a mission. We want peace because ultimately we have to work on peace. And then that is one aspect of this. I must say film. But at the same time, now I feel because we have some reactions of the film also from different sections. There is reaction of Kashmiri Pandit community, reaction of Kashmiri Muslims, some politicians, and so on, because of they are saying that it's one-sided. That's a fact, it's one-sided. It's only presenting I mean, say, suffering of Kashmiri Pandit community. Probably it was framed only for that community. With that was the intention. But now it is being misused or misunderstood for that matter that is presenting only suffering one community, not the others who have also suffered. Muslims have also suffered. There have been Sikhs have suffered. Army people are getting killed. Policemen are getting killed. After all, they are also human beings. A basic thing is that we had to talk against violence. We had to work against violence, whether it is from A or B or one previous or other previous. And if that's it, so basically, I'm being against the violence. I don't have much of this thing because then you have on this TV, you have a serial, Crime Patrol, where they actually show the actual instance of rapes or murders or brutalities going on young women and children and so on. I don't see even that. I can't tolerate that. So this is almost parallel to that. That is only on isolated cases, individual cases, but crime patrol, whereas this is for the community as a whole, and the whole community suffering. And in crime patrol, they showed some sort of punishment to the accused, and he is also dying or something of it. Here, no action has been taken so far on the accused. They are still roaming in, say, freely. I remember on 25th January 1990 when those Air Force people were killed, I was in my bathroom. And was such a firing outside. I was in that area, so Rawalpura area. Such a firing took place. I got what has happened. Like somebody is pulling down some building or something of that sort. But that was the thing. What happened here, how it started, all those things, militancy in Kashmir. And initial stages, I found some well of people also suffering the JKLF people and coming with them for donations, all those things. Would you know? वो क्या बच्चे लोग they are just asking for alms or for help and so. Probably even what I could gather from initial stages from a common Muslim also there, they didn't actually know much of them what was actually happening. Only a particular section knew about it. only a particular section, not a common Muslim. I can definitely say not a common Muslim one, because they say, we don't know what is happening. When on the very first, on 12th of February 1919, our house was stoned during night, 3 nights, 4 nights continuously. I asked a Muslim neighbors, my friends, "Wait, what is happening?" They said, "We don't know what was happening. Who are they doing this thing?" Then they called people in mosque and told them, "Ye kaun pathar laga? Who is stoned these houses?" Muji sahab ko. So sir, we don't know. And in fact, there was a Molvi coming from some other area to that mosque. They banned him. Don't come to this mosque because you don't belong to this area. We don't want disturbance in this area. They were also taken aback. What's happening? So a sort of, you say, what section was there? How they people were crossing from the
Muju
boat?
Sahab, you're
Yes, sir.
you're just going on also details, but you are also talking about you are not support the violence. Okay, you are, this is a fact. In Sanatan Hindu Dharma, always advocate for the peace and humanity, and
Correct?
as we also know, I am talking with a different way. So Sanatan Hindus, we were Sanatan Hindus, were the oldest religion on the earth,
Correct?
oldest and the first religion on the earth. And how they came from, they are saying, other than talking directly, Muslim are saying whatever their Muhammad Sahib wrote in the book, those who are not Muslim, they are kafirs, kill them.
Correct? Correct?
So their principle is kill them, our principle is save them. How it will be just a coincide, how we'll go it
Correct?
for the
Correct?
humanity.
Correct? Correct? Correct, sir. You see,
Please.
violence breeds violence. If you are violent, you become violent to somebody, there will be retaliation, reaction, it will create more violence. Now, do you want to live in the world of violence or you want to stop violence? If somebody abuses me, does it mean I should go and abuse myself, also him? So, what is the end then? What is the difference between that man and my man? I don't mean there was no self defense. I don't mean that part of it. I had to defend myself. But I don't react and become violent myself. I had to defend myself in a rational way, in a positive way. That part is there. I agree. I don't have it covered. If you need to hit back, you hit back. Nobody stops me from hitting back somebody. But it doesn't teach me knowledge, it doesn't teach me to be humble and just lie down and you go and kill me. And if somebody's philosophy is wrong, we say that why philosophy he believes violence, he believes something now, the concept. And unfortunately, I'm to say religion is divide us now. We are a Hindu, I'm a Muslim, and a Christian, and all those things. Our faith is a matter of my thinking. And this politics divides us. You are a congressy, you are a BJP man, you are a nationalist, you are a this thing and that thing. Religion, I find personally, I tell you, religion and politics both are doing more damage to humanity than anything else. If you can we rise beyond religions, beyond politics, live as simple as human beings? Live
Sir,
as simple as
sir,
human
sir,
beings?
sir, sir, one question in between. In question, in your thoughts, I'm just taking the one question, taking the liberty of the one
Uh,
question. You're talking of the religion and politics divide us. Okay, that's great. Humanity connects us. Okay, that's also great. But religion and politics divide us. Do you think the Mr. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, the so-called Rashtrapita, I never called him the Rashtrapita. This is my personal view. And do you think that we got independence only for peace and non-violence? More than 20 lakhs people
no,
killed
no,
on the name
no,
of
no. I
division.
don't agree. I don't agree there. I don't agree because we have paid the price. We have paid a very heavy price. No,
That's the
in a
point, sir.
different way.
That's the point.
I don't agree with that. वो बगैर वो दाल और बगैर खंजर और दाल जो गाना है ना वो that song बगैर का no
And
we
what
have
a
paid the
nonsense
price.
poem. De di hame azadi bina khadek bina dhal. Who wrote the nonsense
That
poem? Literally
well
nonsense.
well I would call it a nonsense and think because of one thing that everybody's own ideas about his own
Our
views. Because
Shahid
we
Bhagat
are
Singh
no,
Asfaq Ullah, Rajguru
we
Sukhdev,
are now
and
listen to me,
all
sir.
are just
We
the martyrs.
No, no, I agree because that's the beauty of politics. I'm telling you, that's the beauty of politics. You divide. You divide as a home. Your father is having one philosophy. You are having another. Your brother other philosophy. You will fight in the house until you are BJP. That is RSS. He is a Congressy. He is another some other party. In the same house,
On
you
the
fight.
contrary, your philosophy
So
is a
same.
different on the
So
path of humanity.
I'm telling
I
you.
on
So
agreed on the point.
naturally, but I don't agree 100% in principle that we have got azadi. without any fighting, we have paid a heavy price. Number one,
Yeah,
division of the land, division of country. Then millions have been killed, uprooted, the
our
refugees,
country has been
children living.
divided toward three parts.
That is there. We have paid a price. We have not gotten free of this independence. We have not gotten free of cost. We have paid a very heavy price. That's a fact. I don't agree with that. We have a without price and all this loyalists. No, we have not been violent. That's it. We have suffered. We have not retaliated. We have become violent. That's a different thing. That's
So,
only sense.
sir, just a
That's
time
what
of
my
break.
tolerance.
Just
That
yeah,
was that's what my tolerance. That's why my patience. But
yeah,
it doesn't mean therefore
yeah.
what there was no violence on. I can't forget
Yeah.
Jallianwala Bagh. I can't forget Jallianwala Bagh. That's a
Who
fact.
done this,
It's a
sir?
reality of
Who did this? Who
that's
did
what
this? Why this? That is also
man
kind of
did
a
it.
question.
Human being, man did it. Human mentality did it. Again, politics, our nationality, all those things. Again, the sense of possessiveness. I am there. I am there. So unless there is a change in human thinking, as individual level, trans, human psychology needs transformation for peace. Collectively, there's no transformation. Individual level, you have transformation. They will probably think of peace. And I am personally working only for peace, nothing else. Whatever the cost is there.
So, sir, just a time of break, and after break, I'll just take the question from you. Just answer from you with my questions. How is the present day? How is the present Kashmir? How the our Kashmir will live now, the good and peace, and as you advocate of peace. The time of break.
Okay, sir.
Welcome to the break. We are just talking with the GZN talk with Gopi Kishen Muju Sahab, and he's from the Jammu Kashmir, living in Jammu, also editor of the Voice of Silence. But the Voice of Silence is the full of the voice, and for the common people, he always advocates the common people, how the common people gets or not. So, Muju Sahab, now situation has been changed. 5 August 2019, a historical date in the history of the Jammu Kashmir. Okay, this is a union territory, should be a state. One, Ladakh is separated now as a union territory. Two, now this is the model. Whatever the Modi government is trying to do best for the Jammu Kashmir who are living and just to connect it, the main stream of the country. How just you analyze the situation, how it is a beneficial for the people, how it is a good for the people, how should be good with the more expectations. Thank you.
You see, any step taken in good intention can be good, but that intention should be really good intention. If you have with a motive, with the, in your mind, then it is not a real. If you love somebody, you really love somebody. If you love somebody with a motive, with selfishness, it's no love then. So you have to be away, yourself has to be away when you love somebody. Then alone you can say, yes, I really love there. So what has happened in 2019? This was a long needed demand from the people as such, though not so much openly, unconsciously, stealthily, under the table, hona chahiye, wo hai. And more actually 370 had lost hold of the value. It had almost become a shallow, only shell was left there. Only it was only in the constitution book that what was left there, almost. Most of it was gone. But because all that was removed, all the collages were removed after 1953, there was a change in the government, all those things. After the change started taking place, and applications of Indian Constitution started applying J&K state. And firstly, you have to understand what was 370. 370 was an agreement between J&K government and government of India, how J&K can accede to India, because J&K did not accede like other states to India. It acceded 3 months later when Pakistan attacked Kashmir. Otherwise, Hari Singh probably wanted to be independent. Because Pakistan attacked Kashmir, Hari Singh was forced to go to India and so he acceded to India. And then there were only three clauses: defense, communication, currency, and foreign affairs. Rest will be decided by the government itself. That was the agreement. And that came in the form of 370. Then under there's a Delhi Agreement 1972, where it was agreed on this will be remain. Then there was 35A. It was actually in vogue 1927. when Maharaja Hari Singh passed a law that the jobs and the land, etc., will be owned only by the locals of JNK state. It was a heritage subject law. So that nobody from outside come, because being a poor state, we didn't want to be exploited. So it is that way. So it was a conscious. Well, these things were both constitutional agreements. And then naturally you can't break an agreement unilaterally. Though there may be a clause, we had discussed this and that, but we had to. But then that way, it was, people wanted it. It was, I mean, becoming always a hollow. But it was a sentimental issue. Yes, they say it is there. Yes, you have. This is my identity. Whether I'm putting some symbol on my body, whether actually inside I am that or not is a different thing. But the symbol is there on my body. It's there. Yes, I'm there. So it was like that. This 370, हाँ ठीक है. This is my safety. This is my this thing. It's a sort of identity, especially for people of Kashmir, because freedom of Kashmir started from Kashmir itself. So, but the way it was removed, not that they were all against that removal 370. There will be happy 370 removed all the laws are applicable to JNK state. Huh. I have in fact written in my paper several times, protect 35A को modify करें. It was already Supreme Court. 35A was already Supreme Court. It is already Supreme Court. I had suggested there in my paper even, because 35 says some likinas, say the Gorkhas who had been there in Kashmir for 200 years or so with a few families, they were not given their rights. Valmikis are not given their rights, or the refugee POK were not given their rights. And then there was a confusion about the inheritance of the property by the girls who marry non-citizen subjects. I had suggested a paper amend to that extent, amend 35A to that extent, because this was what was touching a common man. 370 never touched a common man on the roadside. It was political. It was political there. They are constitutional. This was 35A was touching common. So I had suggested modify this, amend these, because case of the Supreme Court. Had that been done, there was no need for doing anything. Nobody had to. But then the way it was done on 5th August, you see, first what they call the Gupkar gang later on, unfortunately, using a very bad word, the Gupkar alliance was there. They met the home this governor. They met the prime
Do you
minister.
think, Muju
They,
sahab, do you
what,
think
no,
there is any use of Gupkar
no,
gang?
no, huh?
There is any
Yes.
use of Gupkar gang in the Jammu Kashmir?
No. I don't want to use any bad word for any alliance. It's right or wrong. Whether I am with them, I am not with them, is a different thing. The question is the alliance. That is a simple thing. What would be the proper word? And do you know one thing? I'm saying when they said the Gupkar gang, somebody remarked it. That's Gujarat gang. So you go to gang war, a gang war. Why do you use some decent words? It's alliance. You got Gujarat gang. Then what do you say about that?
We can't say the
Would you
Gujarat
like
gang
that?
like that.
Yes,
No, any Gujarat
they
gang.
have said it. The whom you call Gupta gang, they have called it Gujarat gang. No, don't take up that issue, please. That's not the issue. Let's not waste time and energy on these things. That's the issue. The question is the way it was removed, abrogated.
But there is no
I no,
comparative. Yeah.
no, you don't listen to me, please. Listen to me, please. The way
Please.
it was removed, I will tell you why. Initially, about 40,000 security personnel sent there. All non-locals were asked to go out from colleges to tourists are going were asked to go out, and people asked were also to keep a ration for a month or so, some other, and then 1,000 people arrested overnight, and then 3 former chiefs were under PSA. Farooq Abdullah being arrested, not his, and sympathy for him and against him, but that he, whom Mr. Vajpayee in the United Nations said he is the only Indian in Kashmir, real Indian in Kashmir, being arrested, sitting MP being arrested under PSA. So this was creating sort of war hysteria. Probably they were not themselves sure what will happen in Kashmir. So they want to create a war hysteria. Had they
So now,
talked to
what do
these
you
people,
expect now?
no, listen to me. So that created allegation, that created misunderstanding. And then you know how many people PSS were discarded, removed by the courts. What's the value? So it has created only a misunderstanding, it's a communication gap, allegation, which was already there because of militancy. That allegation was removed, but again, and we don't know still what is going to happen. Because still they are not going to statehood, they are not going to give any assembly, that they are saying delimitation, all those things doing. When the local leadership saying first have election, they have a delimitation and all those things. What do you listen to local leadership? What's the problem? If you really want peace in Kashmir, listen to some. Your child is asking for something. You don't listen to the child. Oh, go away. I do my what I like. Listen to the child, what he's saying you. Listen to him. Maybe he's wrong, but listen to him. But you don't listen. You want to listen to the person. That's very, very sad. So best thing is listen to the people of Kashmir because common man is affected. No problem is
So,
solved. Militancy continues, unemployment continues, corruption continues, and there is no communication between the common man and the government. We don't know whom to meet, whom not to meet, whom to address the grievances. Those things. There are grievances.
so
Talk to
no
common
any
man.
no any work of the Kashmiri Hindus, whatever they advocating the government.
Yes,
No
sir.
just घर वापसी.
किसका? Create conditions. Oh, घर वापसी. I have been writing to the government. I can show full file. I have written to government. My house was there that moment intact in 2002, 2003. Then to government of India, repair my house. I'll go back to Kashmir. I was the first person to write down there. There was no response from government of India from GNK government repair my house. I was then forced to sell my house in 2013 because it's all come down because of the ruin. They had no plan to take us back there. They have no
So
plan.
you,
Sorry.
as you
No,
said, as you said.
everybody is playing on the card of Kashmiri political migrants. They are used as for election purposes. Whatever. अब आप कहते हैं फिल्म के बाद कहते हैं we don't know about it. Mine was the first book on militancy in Kashmir by Vajpayee ji, and all the dates were there. Put that there. And 30 years they have been talking about Kashmir Pandits have been thrown out. There's genocide in Kashmir. There's been this thing. So they say we don't know anything what has happened there, and what has they done?
So
They are
you will
not.
agree. So we'll agree with that statement. What are made in the Kashmir files. सरकारें तो बदल गई है, जो ब्यूरोक्रेसी है, जो सिस्टम है हमारा ही है. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes, agree that there's no change. There's no ground को change नहीं हो गई है. Government is not feeling happy. I'm saying any change. You other talk
So
to
what
people in
should do
Jammu
now?
or in
What should do
Ladakh.
the Modi government? What should do more with your
Number
experiences,
one,
with your inputs?
immediately restore statehood. That will create confidence of people. Restore assembly. Whether there is limitation or not delimitation, let common people come there. How does it matter? You see, this was the mistake committed by government in 1984 when MAF was trying to find out elections. If MAF would have taken 3 or 4 seats or 5, nothing would have happened. But they were put behind bars and beaten up there and declared. That's same thing happened. Suppose tomorrow, after all, you have to give government to local people here only. If you are running the government, it doesn't matter which party is running the state government. Why which is running? If you are really interested in a nation, if you're running India as a nation, it doesn't matter if the party A or party B or party C, because everybody is affiliated to Indian only. Everyone is swearing only by Indian constitution. You don't say I'm more faithful than other person. How do you doubt my faith? I mean, say faithfulness. I doubt her. The question: you are as faithful as I am. Whether it's party A, the man who takes oath by Indian constitution, he's faithful to India. That's a simple thing. So any political party. So, but you don't want to know. You want my party to be there. So I must create conditions so that I am there. That's a simple thing. Everybody can understand that part. What's happening?
So your demand is restore assembly and
That's number
make
one.
the proper
That's
system. Then the normalcy will come. Then you will
Naturally.
define the use of the
Delimitation can go on.
1735.
Yes, naturally, you have to take common man on the play. What's the communication between common man and the government? It's only assembly. It's only elected leadership. Only
And
through you can talk to him.
my last question, sir, how just you read the statement, yesterday's statement by Shahbaz Sharif, the new Prime Minister of the Pakistan, let us Modi come and talk about Kashmir. Which type of Kashmir he has want to talk?
You see, now, yeah, the question is, do you agree with me that there's a Kashmir issue or not? No, do you agree? There's a
Pardon,
Kashmir
sir?
problem. Do you agree
No, sir.
there's a Kashmir problem? No,
No, sir.
Kashmir problem. Then what about
Where is-
POK?
About
What about
POK?
POK?
Huh,
Huh?
POK
That's a
is a
Kashmir
problem.
problem.
POK
A
is a
thief
problem.
has entered your, listen to me, sir. A dacoit has entered your house. A dacoit has entered your house, he's occupied the ground floor or ground floor room. He doesn't move out. You tell him, no, you have no right. He says, no, I won't move out. You have to either kill him, negotiate with him, throw him out, and divorce. Then alone you can have claim over him. You say, no, sara makan mera hai. But then how is he there? You have to negotiate on that portion with them, through peace meal,
POK,
through
POK.
force,
We have to
whatever is
negotiate
there.
on the POK. We have to negotiate.
That's the how because deep you can't deny. You say I can't like the ostrich. I can't close my
Not a
eyes.
matter.
The question is
One more. Not a
if
matter of
if
negotiation. We
no
should
no
just whatever they occupied, we should take
no
over.
de facto we never talk about basic problem. De facto is that Pakistan is occupying some portion of our state. Is a fact or not? What we call
Okay.
POK. There's a resolution in Parliament where they
Yeah.
liberate that 94 का resolution. Well, so we accept. And we have everybody said हमें बात करनी है. हमें बात किस पर करनी है? वो वापस बात तो करनी है ना. इशू तो है ना. हमारा ही है. मैंने उसको छीन के लिया.
Yeah, POK is issue. Agreed.
Right?
Government should talk on
Issue
POK.
is there.
Yeah.
No, but close my eyes and no issue is not. Their issue is there.
Not on Srinagar. Not in Srinagar and
Why
Jammu.
does Pakistan talk about Delhi? No, what does the Srinagar Pakistan talk about Punjab, Delhi, Madras, Calcutta? Because Kashmir is the real issue. And you have got United Nations observers in Srinagar. How are they there? This is camouflaging issue does not solve the problem. This is where our fault lies. We don't want to face the reality. We don't want to face the fact. The fact Kashmir जो भी problem है, it's because of Kashmir issue.
Sir, do you hope, sir, my last question, do you hope this problem will be solved?
Why not? Any problem can be solved. Probably you know you mean to solve it. Any problem can be solved. And the solution to any problem lies in the problem itself. Problem is never outside the solution.
So do you think the problem will be solved?
Solution is always in the problem.
But solution always there.
दिल की बात, you should have the sincerity of heart also solve it. You are committed to something. He is committed to something. वो चाहे हम नहीं छोड़ेंगे, हम कहेंगे नहीं छोड़े. उससे the question we are not saying we don't want to solve it because it goes at the interest of both countries. Pakistan also is not much interested. Because it gives you a leverage. What is happening now? You have made me emotional. We're spending so many trillion money on our defense also. For what? Only for Kashmir. And this could have used only for welfare for both. I'm saying both India, Pakistan, both. Why can't we sit together and solve the problem? Just a piece of land, nothing else. There's nothing more than land. Why can't we participate in the thing? And if tomorrow Pakistan bombs us, we bomb Pakistan, what is the land will be there?
Okay.
But we don't want to see the
rest. I think the hope for the best. I think hope for the best.
I'll be sending you a poem now. I have been a mission, we want peace. I've already written about it. The land belongs to us, humanity. Everybody, A, B, C, or D. We have divided ourselves because we have born in a particular land. And then you are too compromised. I'm not too compromising. I'm too harsh for this. Let us face the reality of fact. We have divided ourselves. I have conversation. Hindu, we call ourselves. Muslim, somebody call it Christian. We have divided ourselves. Mentality. Our identity is killing us. And then we don't know. We are purchasing so many armaments, whether Pakistan or India or any other country. Why? To kill our children. We are purchasing.
Yes. We hope for the best. We hope for the best for the solution.
That atom bomb has been created. It's all right. But we don't understand that the atom bomb is meant to kill my own future generations. We don't realize that part of it. Nobody talks about that. We feel happy about it, but nobody talks about peace. We have done so much for peace. We have spent trillions on peace. We have spent trillions on these guns and these befores and these aeroplanes and all those things, armaments. We take pride in that. I don't mean this is a simple nation defense. I don't say that. But how much do we spend for peace? How much do we spend for humanity? Where the starvation
overall, humanity is supreme. Nobody can deny the humanity. But who will teach humanity to that killers? Those who are killer of humanity. Sir, we have also teach the nation accordingly. That is also important.
Nobody can teach anything to anybody. Man has not learned for millions of years. We have not learned anything about the history. We are still same barbaric, killing, murderers, and so on. Our thinking has not changed unless the revolution in human mind.
Just for the nation is also important as well as humanity is also important. So nice of you. Just you discuss all the points.
Everything is everything. Okay,
So
sir.
nice of you. We
Everything is
discuss the
important,
each and every
sir.
point. The reality also, truth
Okay,
also,
sir.
facts also about the Jammu Kashmir. Hope for the best. Whatever you define, according to your definition, the solution of Jammu Kashmir will be the solved by the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi government, as
Yes,
well the new
yes. That
new
is,
elected government in the Jammu
oh yes,
Kashmir.
naturally.
Yeah.
If they
So
are
nice of you.
sincere,
Thank you.
naturally,
Thank you.
if they want peace in their land, they must come out. They must come forward. Yes, that's correct.
Thank you,
Everybody
sir.
has to play his role. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
sir. Thank you. God
Jai
bless
Hind,
you.
Jai Bharat.
God bless
Jai.
you.